It doesn't happen all at once. It's more of a quiet, creeping fade out. One day you're in a room packed with your people, the laughter so loud you think it'll last forever. The next, you're staring at a silent phone, scrolling through a group chat that's been dead for months. You start doing the math in your head and realize the number's getting smaller. You're not imagining it, and you're definitely not the only one. There's an invisible formula that starts dismantling your social circle, and for most of us, it kicks into high gear right after 25. The most heartbreaking part? You never see it coming. You just think, oh, that's life, or everyone's just busy. But it's more predictable than that. It's almost a force of nature, a dark algorithm running in the background of your adult life. This is the brutal math that tears friend groups apart. Think about a friend like Sarah. At 24, her phone was a constant flood of notifications from the crew. Spontaneous weeknight dinners, last-minute concert plans, a dozen people to text after a bad day. Her friends were just there. They were a given. Fast forward to 29, and the group chat is a ghost town. One friend moved for a job. Two got married and basically fell off the face of the earth into couple land. Another had a baby, and just like that, their availability vanished. Sarah was left standing in the silence wondering, was it me? Did I do something wrong? Was I not a good enough friend? That loneliness is confusing and it feels like a personal failure. But Sarah wasn't a bad friend. She was just a victim of the formula. This quiet vanishing act isn't just a feeling, it's a real, documented trend. According to the Survey Center on American Life, the percentage of Americans with 10 or more close friends has crashed from 33% in 1990 to only 13% today. During that same time, the number of people who say they have zero close friends has quadrupled. And get this, scientists at Aalto University and the University of Oxford found that our social circles grow until we hit 25, and then like clockwork, they start to shrink. It's a steep decline that pretty much continues for the rest of our lives. This isn't your fault. This is math. And to get it, we need to look at the variables in the equation. The formula that's messing with our social lives is built on three key variables: proximity decay, the 200-hour rule, and life stage divergence. When these three hit at the same time, it's the perfect storm for friendships to just fall apart. First up, proximity decay. Think back to high school or college. Making friends was easy, right? That's because you were stuck in what you could call effortless proximity. You saw the same people in class, in the dorms, at parties. You didn't have to plan to see your friends. You almost had to plan not to. Proximity is the soil where friendships grow without even trying. But after 25, what's been called the great scattering begins. People move for work, for love, for cheaper apartments. That easy proximity is gone. Spontaneous hangouts get replaced by the logistical nightmare of trying to schedule a brunch 3 weeks from now. That physical distance creates emotional distance. You're not living parallel lives anymore, and the friendship, starved of that easy connection, starts to wither. The second variable is the 200-hour rule. This is where the math gets really unforgiving. Research by Professor Jeffrey Hall at the University of Kansas actually put a number on what it takes to make and keep friends. He found it takes about 50 hours of hanging out to go from an acquaintance to a casual friend. To be a real, actual friend, that's about 90 hours. And to get to that top tier, best friend status, you're looking at over 200 hours. Now, just do a quick mental calculation for your own life. You've got a 40 or 50-hour work week plus a commute. You have to sleep, eat, and do laundry. If you have a partner or kids, that time shrinks even more. Finding an extra 200 hours to pour into one friendship suddenly seems impossible. In college, 200 hours was a semester. As an adult, it's a massive investment. This is why our work friendships can feel a little shallow. Professor Hall noted that hours spent working together just don't have the same value as real, quality social time. We just run out of hours in the day. Finally, the most powerful variable: life stage divergence. This is when you and your friends, who used to hit all the same milestones together, suddenly start living in different worlds. One of you is studying for a PhD, and the other is learning how to change a diaper. One is climbing the corporate ladder in a huge city, while another is buying a house in the suburbs. These aren't just small changes. They're huge shifts in your identity, your priorities, and your free time. The friend with a newborn can't just come to a late-night show. The friend saving for a down payment can't drop $1,000 on that group trip. All of a sudden, the shared experiences that built your bond are in the rearview mirror. You have less in common, and the conversations can feel a little strained. It's nobody's fault, but the connection starts to fray as you're all pulled in different directions. If any of this is starting to sound painfully familiar, if you've ever felt that quiet sting of a friendship just fading out, you're not failing. You're just a human being going through a totally predictable process. And if you've been nodding along this whole time, give this a thumbs up so more people can find it and understand they're not alone in this. Sharing your own story in the comments can be a huge help too, because figuring out the math is the first step to beating it. So, are we all just doomed to have our social circles shrink until we're all alone? No. The formula is powerful, but it's not destiny. Once you see the math, you can start to hack it. You can't stop life from happening, but you can fight back with one key thing: intention. First, you have to manufacture proximity. Since you don't get that built-in effortless hang time anymore, you have to create it yourself. This is all about building rituals. It's the scheduled monthly dinner that's sacred on the calendar. It's the annual camping trip you always take. It's the weekly video call with your friend who lives across the country. These appointments become your new proximity, the life support system that keeps the bond strong when life no longer does it for free. Second, focus on high-quality hours. If you only have a few hours a month for a friend, make them count. This means putting your phone away. It means asking the big questions and having the deeper conversations, not just glossing over surface-level updates. The 200-hour rule isn't just about quantity, it's about quality. One focused 2-hour dinner where you're actually present is worth more than a dozen distracted text messages. It's about creating moments that actually strengthen the bond and prove the friendship is worth your precious, limited time. Finally, and this is the big one, you have to embrace the evolving equation. Part of the heartbreak is grieving the friendships you thought would be the same forever. But adult friendships aren't static. They change. They evolve. And yeah, some of them end. That's okay. You might have a friend you only see twice a year, but when you do, it's like no time has passed. You might have a gym friend or a work friend. These connections aren't less valuable. They're just different. The key is to let go of the idea that every friend has to be your everything friend, like they were at 22. Quality over quantity is the new goal. Remember Sarah? After a year of feeling lost, she started to get it. She stopped waiting for the old crew to magically reappear. Instead, she started creating proximity and organized a monthly book club. She focused on high-quality hours by scheduling one-on-one walks with the friends who were still around. She accepted that her social circle looked different. It was smaller, sure, but it was also stronger, built not on convenience, but on purpose. Losing friends as you get older isn't a personal failure, it's a completely normal part of adulting. The scattering is going to happen. The demands on your time are real. But loneliness doesn't have to be the end of the story. Once you understand the forces working against your friendships, you get to take the power back. You can choose to be intentional. You can choose to schedule the call, to show up, to invest. You can build a new kind of social circle, one that might be smaller, but is forged with effort and is strong enough to survive the brutal math of being a grown-up.